Schwarzenegger happens to be here for Comic-Con
today.
He was here for The Expendables 2, and I was wondering if any of you have heard from him or want to meet him or...
No, he hasn't right, he doesn't call. He only send a picture.
Okay.
His phone keeps ringing out, doesn't go to voicemail. He's busy though, he has his own stuff going on.
Fight.
Huh?
No.
I know, especially briefly.
All right, our next question.
Big guy.
My question's for Len. I'm really excited that there's another Total Recall, and obviously it's somewhat different. You don't go to Mars in this one. What was the thought to keeping it the same characters who played in Copenhagen rather than just Newton? Or was there ever any point where you could have done a completely separate Total Recall story involving Recall?
Well, and part of that, it originated from the script that I read, and those characters were in there. But you know, there's things that are definitely drawn from the film as well as the short story. So I was just really intrigued by the way that the characters were dealt with in this one. You know, it was familiar characters, but done with you know, in a different context. So it was the short answer is they were alive in that first draft that was presented to me.
Okay, next question from the gentleman back.
As actors, dealing with the subject matter, there's so much over-the-top material in this movie. How do you grasp that? How do you wrap your mind around it?
Actually, we took a very serious approach. So that was our approach. I didn't see it as over the top, really. I'm honest with you. Someone asked me just on the red carpet.
Thank God he doesn't watch playback.
Over the top.
Well, they asked me, well, how did you prepare for this? Your character's in the future. And I don't know how I would do that. So I just approach it like any other character personally, and justifiable actions for what your character wants and how to behave, and that's how I approach it.
Same here. I think honestly, I mean, you know, there's a whole canvas of extraordinary toys and effects and huge concepts that are involved in telling the story and in the realization of the film. But as an actor, you just kind of approach it. And you honestly treat it the same. You treat it independent film. You know, a character piece. You find you work the same way. Albeit it's a little bit more physical. You know, every day.
Well, we had the adapted advantage that Len likes to do as much as he can practically, whether that's building sets that look completely fully realized, that you don't get to walk around and feel that they're real, and then dealing with kind of, you know, the green screen and nothing. We've got these incredible sets. We've got hover cars that really are hovering and feel dangerous and scary. That we're in and tipping. So all of that stuff, I think, you know, really helped me. Like, I didn't feel it at all. It felt terrifying, like it was really a lot of times.
Yeah, definitely. Also, emotionally speaking, I guess, because it felt like, yes, we're existing in a world that's in the future, and technology speaking is, we don't have some of the technology that we have in this film now, but emotionally, and I think specifically for Colin and that character, it was just a human experience you're going through. You know, somebody that you really care about. Everyone understands that, and if they don't remember you or they don't know what happened, I mean, that's like a heartbreaking thing. Everyone knows what heartbreak feels like, so it also felt extremely relatable and real and just very grounded.
Our next question.
Kate, we've been so accustomed at seeing you kick ass as the good guy, the hero. How do you feel about switching it up and being a bit more of an antagonist and being bad?
Well, Len and I are still not really talking from the first conversation of this part is the bitch wife I'm really thinking of you for. That's still the subject in our house. But yeah, it's great. I think as the lead character, you are actually requiring, as a character, you have to sort of be part of exposition and taking the plot. But really, as a villain, you just get to occupy your character and mess everybody up all the time. And sort of as an actor himself, your motives and your own reasons, whatever it is really kind of all your responsibility. And it's fun to open up the dark side that my husband spotted.
Happy Teeth is calling you.
What happened?
There's got Brian Prince.
Yes.
Kathy Tits.
The gentleman in the red.
Hey there. Just wondering what each of you were excited to see in the script of the movie that are not or directly from the original. Got you excited for this?
I mean, for
There's
me,
another movie called Totally
for me personally, I was there were things actually in the original script that you know, the script itself doesn't go to Mars. So that being a departure already, there were things that I actually brought into the script that I wanted to see in this version of it. So there were certain things that I actually made a list when I was about to go watch the original again, and just wanted to write down things that had stayed with me over the years, and I think for about 20 years or so, and then put that list together, and then watch the original again, and make sure that some of those things that had stuck with me for a while made their way into the film. It's always a little different kind of twist, and some things are more apparent, and then other things are so buried in there and done with different, you know, different twists on them that I'm actually very curious. I think some of the hardcore fans will be able to see what some of those are, and but I'm excited to see if they actually pick up on some of them.
Well, you were a young man when that happened, right? So, I mean, I think the thing that stayed with you, the three-breasted woman, for
It's hard to avoid the third time where you land.
That was yeah.
top of the list.
There was a, it was one of the things that, honestly, I thought you can't have a total recall. It doesn't have that. There's too many fans out there. I'm one of them. I was 15 at the time. Yes,
And by the way, anyone who shows up with an implanted 3 breasts gets into the movie for free. So, I stick around. It's gonna be good.
And next question. This lady in the middle.
Hollywood and Full Recall have a lot in common, like you don't know what's real and what's not. For Colin Farrell, do you know?
I am Hollywood. Very sorry.
Do you realize as a celebrity that people think you don't live in the real world like they do?
I don't know. I try not to cast my mind into projecting what other people are thinking or feeling, or as a dangerous game. I would kind of be judgment on my part, I think. But I'm sure. Let me see. Yeah. Okay. So I wasn't always famous. It was like before this. And I remember looking at celebrities, whether they garnered a bit of fame as a result of playing football, or soccer, or singing, or yodeling, or whatever it may have been. And I'm sure I thought that their lives were probably, beyond the realm of being affected in the way that I felt normal people, such as myself at that time, were affected by things. But it's not really true. We all die, and we all experience sickness, and we all lose people we love. And this fame thing or celebrity or working as an actor and being paid very well in the last decade or so has allowed me to do incredible things with money, like get my nails buffered, go on nice holidays to the leading hotel in the world. I mean, there's really like straight up, like when my grandparents were old and shit, I could pick a really nice old photo of both of them. I was probably naked. I wouldn't be doing that if it wasn't for acting, if it wasn't for the way I experienced that in the last 12 years, which was a little bit of pain involved and all that jazz. So, I don't know, people think that life for famous people is, I don't know. Individually, I have no idea. I'm a lucky son of a bitch, so I don't know.
All right, next question.
Well, you are.
Who's the better actor, Biel or Beckinsale? And did anyone get injured during training or during filming?
Biel, Beckinsale. Celebrity death don't. Right now, let's do it. Comic Con exclusive.
Very good question, but you're both here. I have to say I would say Biel, because I think she might have been born at a sprint, and I was born sitting down, reading books.
I would have to say Beckinsale.
Nice move. Because
There's only one way to sell it.
it's that neck crotch chop thing. She didn't do to me, but.
I love that for brownies and Chiswick.
So it wasn't brownies, not even close.
Did anyone get injured? I didn't.
I didn't.
Anybody, I don't think anybody, I got injured. Did you get well?
You did.
I got injured.
What's the definition of injury?
Injury. Internal injury? I got pink eye. And you got such a pink eye.
Pink eye.
He looked like he'd been on a 3-day bender in Saigon in 1972.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, I'm sure during Colin and yeah, from the water. We were fighting in these fight scenes in about 8 inches of water. And lovely people that they are, the crew heated up the water so that we weren't cold all the time. But then it became like a petri dish with all these crew members.
He's in the water. That is
well, and then someone told me, you know, I got a fecal matter. That's like a big guy, fecal matter.
See, the Colin because the pink guy showed up before we filled the pool.
It wasn't. I just remember doing a lot of camera pink eye, like, it was just weird.
There's plenty of take where I've actually gone in and removed that.
Did you really?
Yeah. It was quite bad, yeah.
Oh my God, was it bad? It was
You owe the production $7,000 for Photoshop.
You have pink eye and both eyes and you're still good.
Yeah.
Wow.
I did.
And that's how you get a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Next question.
A lot of Philip K. Dick's writing was paranoia about the invasion of technology in our life, in our society, and in our mind, in his own mind, and that it's in all of his works. How important was it, or was it important for you to keep some of that kind of technology paranoia, especially since when he wrote it, the things he was writing about seemed so far away, and now they're talking about, you know, possibly being able to map memories and dreams, and it's something like recall is closer than ever to actually being possible.
It really is, and I think it really was so far at the time, and it was very important to me. I'm also just fascinated by it. You know, anything that, just the paranoia side of science fiction, I really love. You know, so, and also, it just, you know, I love science fiction because it's an extension of possibly what science can actually, you know, where it can possibly bring it. And that's not always a good thing. And so that paranoia for what if was very important to me, and also just from a character point of view about how you really process something like that. And if you know, just imagine if you were being told that you are somebody else, and not only being told you were being shown proof that you are that other person, and what that would actually do to you and how you deal with that. And I think Philip K. Dick, you know, that's apparent in a lot of his work that that I'm just personally really interested in. So to answer the question, just, you know, basically, how was very important to me.
The original film is just so quotable. There are so many lines that you can just, people imitate, and Arnold impressions. I'm curious for you guys if you have any favorite quotes from the first film, and who did the best Arnold impression on set, because we know they had to have happened at some point, right?
Colin my car.
You're all just hanging me. I cannot remember what.
I don't know if of course you channeled most of what in the grunts of the action, I swear to God. You close your eyes and there's the Arnold right there.
Grunts?
In grunts. In grunts, you're the closest to Arnold I
People dig it.
Never fully gets into an actual.
No, I never actually used language.
No, we just finished this area.
But there's you know, we have, you know, we have, I wouldn't call them one-liners. We have, you know, I think there's the ability to have fun with a movie without it being funny. And it's a distinction that you know, I was hoping that we pull off with this one.
Kate gives good one line.
Hey?
You give good one line.
What was the name for that?
what are your favorite film features? And for them, what was it like building the future, like in terms of reference, like building this future?
Man, I've been wanting to build a future world for a long time, probably since I was 14. So in terms of how fun that was for me, it's something I really enjoy doing and kind of fantasize about what a future reality would be. And so that was really fun. And being able to put together a future world that felt relatable. You know, I've seen a lot of future worlds put together in films that some extremely well, others that I always question what they did with our world. That, you know, some future environments, say it's 100 years, 50 years in the future, and it's as though we've taken the entire world as we know it and put it in one big world story to start over. And that's never made any sense to me. And so I wanted to make sure that as fantastic and otherworldly as this future world would look, if you travel down to the base level, it's still something familiar. It's still the same buildings that existed for hundreds of years, and connect it to something that is still real. And so that part was immensely fun for me. And in terms of inspiration, it's too many. It's since I was a kid.
For the actors, do you more look forward to or more dread the kind of physical preparation that goes into doing a film like this, like the fight choreography and the shape you've got to be in?
I was really excited about it. I hadn't done something that was this physical in probably 6 or 7 years or so, or 8 years. I knew it was going to be a long shoot as well. The shoot was 5 or 6 months long, and every day I'm either running, jumping, falling, fighting, shouting, screaming, getting hit, punching, shooting. And they have. And then he went to work. So I really looking forward to it because it was just the first time I got to work physically for that long. Yeah.
Next question. Louder. Yep.
This movie is a great memory and getting new faces and doing a new job. So the actors, do you have any memory which you really erase? And if you can get the other job, what you want to do?
You just want to copy the memory you want to erase. Yeah. If you don't have it, you don't want to help you. That's fine.
It's one of the great side effects of drinking too much is blackout syndrome. I don't even remember what you just said.
Well, what about what we would actually like to, what we fantasize about being able to actually...
Being able to remember or experience?
Yeah, experience something. I think that's a career, yeah.
You sharing this meeting now, I love it.
What other profession would you take? Sit in a chair, or what would you do?
Baseball player.
Baseball?
Yeah, baseball player. Sorry.
I would like to be Freddie Mercury.
Freddie Mercury. At what stage and where? Doing what?
I would be at Wembley.
Oh, that day?
Yeah.
Live Aid?
No, not Live Aid, 'cause I didn't play very well that day, right? I think I did as well.
I don't know, but there was such an emotional depth when he did that day, and maybe that counteracted it.
Yeah, maybe that day.
It meant so much to me. I don't remember getting to the living room watching, you know, 120,000 people doing radio.
Oh, I know. That's mine. You can't have it.
But they didn't just do it once like me and Biel, they did it over.
Sorry I elaborated.
Thanks, Ned.
Next question.
Sci-fi movie should have social commentary, and let's just say this movie falls into that category. They call this the me generation with self-realization and instant gratification. Does it mean that recall is actually closer than you think?
You know, I like to think that, again, the paranoia thing is very attractive to me. I would say that we're getting closer and closer to that with every generation. And so I don't think it's something that is that outrageous that somebody could possibly experience. And whether or not that's a good thing, you know, this movie tells a very dark tale of that. And I think that that's possibly ahead, whatever form it is. I think that it's going to get to a place where there's so much escapism right now, pulling yourself out. People that kind of create their own avatars and their own. So it's kind of an expanded sort of exploded version of what Dungeons and Dragons used to be for kids that would, kind of create sort of personalities, and they were more into those characters than they were in real life. And I think with technology, that's just continuing. And half the people that you probably that are out there on Facebook and such are, is that really what it's like? Who knows? But I think it's very possible.
Colin, could you talk on your right? Hi. Could
Hey.
you talk about playing both Quaid and Hauser?
Quaid and Hauser, yeah. I mean, you're playing two sides of the same coin. It begs the question, what's in a name? Really, what's in a name, and what is the foundation from which a man is born? It's the age-old question of nature versus nurture and all that type of stuff. Basically, I'm playing somebody who very early on in the film finds out, that everything that he thought was real and was true in his life was a fallacy, was an absolute fabrication. And so in one sense he thinks he's cursed by not having a past, because we all use our pasts as some kind of reflective board by which to judge where we are in our present. And in one sense he feels cursed by not having a past, by not having memories. He feels like, he feels like a man alone, adrift on an ocean of lack of self-awareness and lack of self-knowledge. But I think it comes to pass that he's actually blessed in a way, because he gets to really be immersed in the present in a way that he may never have experienced. Playing both characters, by the end of the film, I don't know which one exists. It's kind of like neither exists. Neither Quaid or Hauser was some kind of amalgam of both men by the end of the film, I think. I take it all back. What did I just say?
There's a part in the movie where Kate tells you whoever gets a fantasy true. Right?
Who gets everything they want or something?
Okay, did you ever get something you wanted so much?
Did I ever get something I wanted so much that I had to say no? No, excuse me, my sponsor called me. I can't talk right now. No, I don't know sponsor. But no, I mean, I don't know if everything in moderation is the key to live by, but I certainly think saturation of anything is a bad thing. I've had a lot of a few things in my life. Some of them have been good, and some of them I could have waited to leave behind and walk from. Yeah.
But what's been the fantasy that makes
the fantasy?
Yeah.
Oh, sex, pills, and drugs, man. This kid did it. You're gonna kill me. Done.
This will be our last question.
Is there still a different level, a lower level of respect for genre entertainment in the Hollywood community? It's a job, you go do it, but it's not a period drama. Anyone can care to talk about that.
A lower level of respect to do with how a film like this is perceived?
Sure, nobody wins Academy Awards for science fiction.
Hey, well, wait a second, come to that, Jeff. Pink guy? People think it's the performance, they won't know it's the pink guy. It's very interesting with Cranston in that.
I wish they would separate it out. I wish there would be categories, like I think they do with the Emmys, right? They kind of categorize it a little bit more than, because the movies are, they are very different genres. But for me, I've always this genre, I take it as serious as when watching the movies that are around me. So I think that comes from being a fan of the genre, that hopefully the filmmakers that are involved are taking it as serious as anything else.
But it's designed to entertain, man. I mean, that's the bottom line. If we can provoke thought, or if there is some element of, subversive commentary in the film, or some idea of having an opinion about Big Brother, or, government, small population, a few, ruling in a brutal and very self-serving way, the majority, or the people they're supposed to be protecting, and the idea of human beings not having as much control in their lives as we think, because there are decisions made for us, and there are very clear parameters by which we can exist, and those parameters are dictated by law, religion, etc., etc., etc. Any of that comes across, that's cool, but that's not how the film's made. I understand. That's exactly what I just said. I mean, that's what we spoke about at the first meeting. We read, and we were like, fuck it, let's just have fun! Let's 3D this shit! No. But, you know, if this film doesn't entertain, honestly, for 2 hours, it should really entertain anyone that goes to see it. If it doesn't, blow me up. Brian hasn't done his job.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.